Okay, we're ready to roll here on wire routing. And on this, the Kato SD40-2, this is really important. Because of the way it was originally done, with where that we showed in the first, these two didn't have it. Thanks to our friend Phil, who removed it when he put in this decoder. And the one we did that did have it, there's a copper strip that ran here, and these things on the trucks, you touch that copper strip, and there was a plastic insulator that sat down over the top, and then some weird way the motor got wired in here in the middle, and then Phil went ahead and he put in some small wires to get them up here to wire it the usual way and get rid of this strip and insulator. So now what we have to do, since we're using a heavier wire, and we made provision in the shell to do that, we have to route these wires. Here's the tricky part. Here's where the cab sits. We got to route them so that the cab doesn't sit on the wire, and we got to route them so that they don't get wrapped around drive shaft. So here's what we're going to do. So I have here set up. Here's my double paper towel folded over. It's got a pile of baking soda in the middle. This is my super glue pad. Okay, and as you know, we don't usually like to use super glue for things, especially things that are like repairing detail parts, because it's always visible. But this is one of the cases where super glue is really appropriate for this. So I always have something to set it in, stand up, that way it don't get clogged, and then to test it, I can bring out a little drop here and make sure I'm not clogged. Alright, what we're doing is this. Let's zoom in. Alright, take a look. I'm super gluing it right there. Let's get a pointer out here. Right here. Now, when I do this, I've got to make sure that the truck can go all the way that way, and all the way that way, and that the wire is not getting like loosened up, moving around, or binding. I can't have it too short, I can't have it too long, so we got it just like that. And that's a reason for we got our heat shrink insulator, and I think there's no reason we can't put a dot of liquid electrical tape on here. It's not going to be necessary, but it's possible. Alright, so how are we going to do this? So I've set up, now this one, which is totally working, when you're done, it will look like that. And your trucks can go like that, no problem. Now, over time, will this break off? If you did not twist and tin this wire properly, you're in danger of breaking it off, probably over a long period of time with the way we have it set up. But this is gonna be pretty good, because we're not really pressuring that joint here. Get this little flexible bit. That's pretty good. Okay, so now let's flip it around and do the other side. Do the back side first. All right, so on the back side, when you're done, it's going to look like this. All right, they're going to be in there, and they're going to slope upwards towards the pads. I got a little piece of heat shrink in here that just holds the wires together so that they can't get entangled. If you don't do this, I guarantee you this thing will entangle a wire. It just, for some reason, it always happens. So I'm going to show you how to not do that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our super glue like this. Now, I'm going to take an X-Acto blade here. Okay, so what I want is first, I'm going to rotate it so the wire is farthest away from the planned route as possible. And then I'm going to put it down like that. Close enough. Now, where I want to put the super glue is I want to put a drop right here in this corner. A little bit up, a little bit out, just like that. And then I want to bring this guy down. I want to bring him over, and I want to pin him right there. I don't want him going all the way up this thing, because we're not going up and over the top. We're going to put him in right there. Okay, now here is another tip. So let's say I'm doing this, I'm getting really frustrated. It's not grabbing. It's already grabbing here, but well, what if it wasn't? I can do this while pinning it. I'm going to take a dot. I'm going to take a dot of the baking soda from over here on the tip of this 17 blade, and I'm going to drop it right there, just like that. That's all you need. That will give you an instant bond with a resin now. It's going to hold that nice and tight. Now I can go back and forth, and all I'm getting is that little elbow looking wire there. Okay, once I've got all of these in here, I'm going to go take it over the air compressor, and I'm going to blow some compressed air there. Compressed air will cure super glue faster because it usually contains a tiny bit of moisture, and that will take care of that. But that's where we're going to go, right there. Now we're going to do that on the back side here. Well, actually, this is the front side. So let's get over here. I'm going to do the same thing again, and you're going to see. All right, so first, let's get you a better top-down view on this. All right. Now, is that too much of a... You get the idea. Okay, so here's the corner right here. I'm going to put it right in this corner, just like that, like that. Okay, now I'm going to turn this guy the farthest away the wire can go. I'm going to take him down, and I'm going to hold him in this corner. Now he's not set up exactly right, but there we go. Now that I've got him pinned, and I've got my, see that? So when I'm letting it cure, I'm bringing them back, so I get that little curve in there. All right, and just in case, if you had to, you would take just a tiny dot of baking soda, like that. That's probably even too much. I might drop a little in there, just a little bit, not even all of it. That makes a nice hard resin. Now, remember, I don't want to go all the way to the top because I'm going to put a piece of heat shrink in there. Okay, there's our guys. Now we got a good routing. Okay. Now I'm going to go over to the air compressor. I'm going to blow so everything is nice and cured and solid, and then we're going to put on the heat shrink. All right, got the super glue cleaned up with the air compressor. Now our wires are in here nice, ready to roll. Now what we need is some heat shrink. So I don't know if you guys know what I mean when I say you can go and you can buy these kinds of packs at various, I don't know exactly where I got it, this tool store somewhere, and they got different sizes, and one of the sizes they have is one that's about this big around. These wires will slip through here nicely. We're not going to shrink it. We're going to use it though. So at this point where we've got our wires routed now, well, not routed, we've got them ready to be routed. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the worm gears and we're going to put the worm gears in. Okay, so I've got worm gears. They've already got the air tool oil on their bearings. I've got the axle connected, the hex head. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in just like that to give it a little twist, fit in, and drop the worm in its spot. Okay, I'm going to take the back one, same thing. We've already got the air tool oil on the bearings. Go ahead, drop them in just like that, and they turn. Okay, then I'm going to take some red lithium on my little screwdriver here, a little tiny one. I'm going to take just a little bit, about like that much, about like that much. Oops. Okay, and I'm going to put a wipe right there. Okay, and there's still enough left. So basically what I had on there was enough to do 2 of them. So I'm going to put right in the middle here, just like that. That is all you need. Yeah, that's all you need. There we go. Let's go ahead and give them a spin around so that it's not interfering at all. Okay, there we go. Now it's worked in enough so we can keep working. So what we're going to do, here's the back one. Now the back one, the wires are going to start sloping upward till they get up here. Till they get up here where we're going to solder them on. So what we want to do is we want a piece of heat shrink that will give us this kind of effect. See that? How it slopes up and away from the drive shaft, but it still can be, it'll be in between here where it won't interfere with anything above. And so I've cut a piece approximately that long. I'll go ahead and we'll put these 2 guys in there, and we're not going to shrink it. Okay, that's that one. Now this guy, so he, on this side, he's got to be under the cab, and then the wires come up. So how long should he be? We're going to go with, he should be about this length plus just a little bit. So let's say he's going to be, so you see he can't really come up, so right now he's as long as this thing. He's as long as the whole thing. And then he went on the floor. Oh, fortunately, he's still here. Okay, so I'm going to cut off a little bit here. So now he's going to be slightly longer than the shelf. That's where the cab sits down. Okay, now this prevents them from getting wrapped around that axle. And you can't be too close to the, you can't be too close right here. There's a couple little cutouts for that end of the axle that will grab on and wrap your wire. You don't want that. There we go. Okay, so now let's get down here and zoom out a bit. Okay, we don't need super glue anymore. We're done with that. Let's put him back. And I notice because of the humidity, my baking soda is getting a little bit, it's not very powdery anymore. That's okay, we'll put some more on later. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out where we're going to attach them, right? So he's got to be down at least like that. And then this guy's got to come in over here. Oh, you know what we did not do on this one? We need to. Let's lock down the motor as long as we're in here. We got to put these 2 long screws in the motor. Let's take out our tape roll here. Hold on to him carefully and turn him upside down. Let's put in the motor mount screws. Okay. Now let's do the fuel tank while we're at it. The fuel tank is in 2 parts, and it fits together with these tabs like this. Okay. Then there's only one way it can go on, and it is just a press fit, and just make sure that it is level It's not on there right until it is level with, it's got to be level with the bottom. So you can work it a little bit. And when you get it right, it will be level with the bottom. This is still not right. Alright, so that's and there is this tab in here which will grab onto it and hold it. Okay, so I want this thing level with the bottom. There we go. Now, there's a tab that holds them on there. But basically, when you're going to take this guy off, don't work with these tabs on the end. Just pull them straight off. Okay, now we are ready to figure out and trim this wire. So when he's down here like this, this guy here is going to be down and over. Okay, let's take a look what I'm doing. I'm going to hold them down so like the cab is sitting on there, holding them under, and I'm going to pull him up to the slot here, and he's going to go over the top there, and I'm going to trim off just a tiny bit off the end. This one's pretty close. Okay, then I'm going to do the same with the black wire. I'm going to hold him down, and when he's held down, I'm going to pull the black wire across. Don't trim him too short. So about what I got on the tweezer end there was about enough, because what we can do is when we strip the wire, we can trim them after we've soldered them. Okay. There. So let's go ahead and pinch and pull. There's one. There's one. Twist. Now this time we got the wire out, so we'll roll her back in our finger. And we'll twist, and we'll twist, and we'll twist, and we'll twist. Not twisting these stranded wires is kind of a recipe for them, for whatever unknown reason that they break off. Okay, those guys are ready to go. Now let's go to this guy. Now this guy here, I don't want him down. I want him under the level of this at the heat shrink. But I don't want him down in there flat. I want him to slope upwards, so it'll keep these wires away from that shaft. So same thing again. Don't get them mixed up different. Don't get them mixed up. Make sure that this color over here matches this color over here. Okay, so then I'm going to hold them right there, and I'm going to look, and it's going to be about like that. I'm going to take my little cutter here, and I'm going to cut him just like that. There. Let's flip them around. Same thing. Okay. I want him to slope up a little bit. There. Okay, then we take them out. Do the same thing. We're going to pinch and pull. Pinch. And pull. Now we're going to twist. And twist. And twist. And twist. And twist. Twist. And twist. And twist. And twist. Very good. Very nice. Let's get out some rosin paste. Alright, now let's go ahead and take our soldering iron here. Give them a nice brushing. I took the tip tin, I put my ball peen hammer in there, and I pounded it lightly with another hammer until I made dust again. There we go. Nicely tinned. Tip tin. First, we go ahead and we tin. So, the tin. I'm going to wipe all the ends of these with some rosin. Get rosin on each one of these guys. Okay, let's get some solder. Let's tin each one of them. Oh, I gotta be careful here. I don't have the worms locked down. We'll do that in a second here. All right, you're good. Okay, let's lock in the worms. They're already good to go. So let's put this cover on them. Make sure you snap down on both sides. Make sure it is actually snapped down. Look at the end of it and make sure this one does not even look like it's totally snapped down. There we go. Now, this side frame here is busted because it does not lock into place because it's missing some of its teeth. We are going to fix that with a dot of goop. Let's make sure they're in their pintles. Okay, let's lock this guy down. And make sure he is locked in. There. Now we're locked in. We'll get those side frames in a while. We're going to put a dot of goop on each end of where it's supposed to lock in place, and that's going to take care of it. Now, let's go ahead. Let's take our rosin. Put a gob on each of our guys. There's our pads. Okay, now let's go ahead. We're still looking good. Let's take our tweezers. Let's bring in the red. We are going to make him, we're going to bend him over a little bit, just like that. If you can see that, okay. We're going to bend him over so that when we come down in here, I want him in between here, and I want him laying across the top, and then I want to touch and go. And there he is. That's that one. Same with this one. I want to take this wire. I want to bend him over a little bit. So he's like that, so he fits in the slot, and I can hold him, and then I can touch him and go. And if he's way too long, I can come back and I can trim off that piece. But there he is. Now you see that? Cab can sit down right there. Same thing here. Bend him over a little bit. Take your tweezers, put him in the slot. There we go. Take the black wire. Get him in the slot. There he is. And there you have it. Okay, now it should look like this. This guy will fit down in there. And notice the heat shrink is below the top, but it is above the axle. On this side, it is below the cab, but it is not, the axle can't grab it. And that's it. Man, we are ready to see if this decoder is still working. Now, the first one worked, so I've got high hopes that this one's going to be good to go too. And there it is. That is our wire routing to get. Now we have the basic setup to go ahead and test the DCC. We're not putting any lights on or nothing yet. We're going to get them programmed up just like this. And there it is.